We're back with another Just a Vibe TV episode, and today we're here with Zoe, Travel with Zoe. How you doing? Nova, so mean is also filling in for Shay today because she couldn't make it.
Unfortunately. Shout out to Shay.
Yeah, big up Shay.
Just here, just making sure we still continue vibe right on Just a Vibe.
Yeah, for sure. So, Travel with Zoe, or your alias, Zoe Reeves, correct?
There's no S on there.
Zoe Reeves?
Yeah.
Zoe Reeves. Right, so like, I understand that you left your day-to-day job in 2022 and just said like, you're gonna pursue
You've done your research.
Yeah, you're gonna pursue your, your content making career, vlogging and traveling and TikTok and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what convinced you to make that decision?
Well, basically, I would always travel plenty. Like, I would always try and do jobs that maybe had like long vacations. Like, I might work at schools or things like that because I always loved traveling. But usually it was like shorter trips because I was obviously working. But every time I take a trip, I always wanted it to be longer. Like, whenever it was time to come back home and go back to work, I was like, I wish I could just have the freedom to like cross the border into this other country or, you know, but of course that's not real life because you have to work. So I always hoped that maybe one day somehow I used to want to be like a travel writer. I thought maybe that would help me to travel more. But anyways, then, you know, I had a boyfriend, I was in a job for quite a long time. I had started like trying to buy an apartment in London and things like this. So I thought, okay, you know what, fine, I'll just have a life in London and I'll just travel when I can, like, fine. But then COVID happened and I saved quite a lot of money in COVID because of course we're like spending less money because we're not doing so many things, and I was like working multiple jobs because I had more time to work basically. So yeah, I had saved a lot of money and then I broke up with my boy, we broke up, me and my boyfriend broke up, and also the apartment that I was like gonna buy, it turned out I couldn't buy it anymore, and I just felt like, and I was also I had just quit like a long-term job as well because I had like some other jobs left.
And that was something you were passionate about, your job?
Oh, like I cared about it, but I didn't want to do it forever. But I tried to always put my best into whatever I'm doing, you know, and I care about everything I do, but it wasn't like what I wanted to be doing forever. So yeah, because like now I had no boyfriend, no place to, not like I wasn't obviously homeless, but I was thinking my life is going to be built around this apartment, you know, and then obviously it wasn't. So no boyfriend, no apartment, and no long-term job, and COVID's finished. So I'm like, well, why don't I just go? Because nothing's stopping me, right? So, because I always wanted to, but there was always something stopping me. Yeah, just went.
You mentioned London, that's where you were born?
No, so I'm from the countryside, it's like an hour outside of London, but London's like the closest major city.
And we understand like UK is built up of various countries like Ireland and so on.
I don't even know the difference between, because there's like the British Isles,
I
Britain and the UK, and I honestly don't.
I actually looked at a video earlier. I was just like
Scotland,
doom scrolling.
And then there's like Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland.
I can't geography video explain and then there's this northern part and
yeah, because I think Ireland, a part of it belongs to the UK and I honestly don't know. I'm sorry, but
I feel like if it's outside and the countryside of London, it's safe to say England.
Yeah. I was just saying like I'm from England.
General England.
Yeah, but definitely where I'm from is nothing like London. It's super countryside. Like I couldn't even walk to like a corner shop in the place I grew up. It was very like remote and quite boring because there was nothing there.
So prior to like 2022, like have you traveled before then?
Well, yeah, because like I said, I was doing jobs where I would travel a lot because I would either choose jobs that had like long holidays or I would choose jobs that were like temporary. So if this job needs like 3-month maternity cover because someone's gone on maternity leave, well, I'll do that job for 3 months and then with that money I'll travel, and then when I come back I'll look for another job. Or, you know, I'd always like I was choosing those jobs so that I could travel.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What was the process in finding those jobs? Like, what was your way to find
Well,
those?
in England it's kind of easy. I would say there's like a lot of resources to find jobs. So we have this website called Indeed.com that lists like loads of jobs. You just like send your CV online.
So you just look for the short-term jobs that's coming.
Yeah, or like jobs that I think will have long holidays or like flexible shifts. So in England we have this thing called a 0-hour contract on certain jobs, meaning that like you're not contracted to like any amount of hours, but you more like sign up for your shifts. So some jobs they even have like this app because they have like loads of staff and all the staff want to be flexible. they have this app and you can like bid for shifts. So you might be like, okay, I want the one on Monday and Tuesday and Friday. They might not give you them, but usually they will because there's a lot of shifts available. So I would just bid for like all the shifts for like this 1 month and then get as many as I could, save that money, and then not bid for any shifts for the next 2 weeks and go traveling for 2 weeks and come back.
And you could still work and you could still bid back for shifts.
Yeah, they don't care because it's like one of the one that had the app, it was like this big company that provided staff for like weddings and big like events and stuff, so they always needed staff because they always had events, so they don't care if you're not there. There's like hundreds of staff in that company because on one weekend they'll have like loads of events going on, so there's certain jobs where they're quite flexible. So I would just always figure out jobs where it could be flexible.
Okay, and let's fast forward a bit, right? We see Zoe, she went different places and then she came to the Caribbean. And then she started frequenting the Caribbean. You love the Caribbean?
Yeah, but that's not exactly how it really happened. You have to like understand a bit more about me to really understand this.
Yes,
so to like try and put it into a short story. So I'm from the countryside, like I said, where it's very boring. There aren't really different cultures there. It's very like white British, where I'm really like from. So in my school, again, not many different cultures, whatever. So I got exposed to different cultures really because I got into basketball. There's like a basketball league in the UK that's like a professional league. It's not huge like the NBA, but people pay to go and watch live basketball, right? And basketball, I suppose you could say, is quite like a diverse sport. You picture quite a lot of like black people playing basketball, right? It's like a stereotype, but it's true. So basically, like, because I was now going to watch basketball, this was from when I was 12, on my weekends I was going to watch these games and naturally like meeting people, in the crowd and whatever. And so that was where I really started to meet people from like London, who obviously London's more diverse, and I just ended up, well, her name's Nicole, but she was the girlfriend of one of the basketball players, and I think her heritage was like Trini and Grenadian, maybe, I can't remember. And she always went to carnival, and I remember I added her on Facebook and I started to see like these pictures that she posted of like, she was way older than me obviously, but these pictures that she posted of carnival and stuff, and I just like took an interest because of that, and then like other people I met at basketball, and I just started to hear about like Caribbean things through these people at basketball and stuff like that. So then and then obviously we have Notting Hill Carnival in London, which is a really huge event that lots of people go to, even just not because they love soca, but just for like a day out, like just like a fun thing to do. So because of all those influences, I decided I wanted to attend carnival like in the UK. So when I was 16, my mum finally let me go there because it was deemed to be like a bit dangerous for like young teenagers or whatever. So so I went when I was 16, not knowing like really what to expect, just thinking it will be like, looks fun in the photos, So I went there, and obviously they were playing like soca and like some dancehall, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Like I just remember seeing like old people, young people, fat people, thin people, black people, white people, just like everyone coming together like so much. Like strangers were like dancing with each other, and there was all this food that smelled so good, and it was just really nice. I don't know, I was just like, I don't really understand what's happening, but I really like it. So I basically went home and researched like carnival music and things like that. Things like that. But obviously I didn't really have that many friends to like share this with, because not everybody at basketball was like my friend, they were much older. So in my school and stuff, I had nobody to like share this interest with, but I basically would be at home on the computer, like going on YouTube, listening to, for some reason, dancehall, actually, not soca. It ended up, with that. So then, because I was now into dancehall, I wanted to go to Jamaica, right? So then, when I was, I think it was like in my first year of university, so I was like 19, I did a little like summer job. I worked at the Wimbledon tennis tournament as like a steward person, and so I saved like £1,000 or something from that. And luckily I didn't really need to use it for any bills or anything, because at the time I had like a student loan from the government that was paying like my university in the summer, so I could use that money for like something fun. So I used it to buy a flight to Jamaica, because I wanted to see about dancehall. So I went to Jamaica when I was like 19. I went by myself, and the money that I had earned could only really pay for like the flight and a little bit more. So that's when I learned about budget travel, because I had only made £1,000. So what do you want me to do? I can't stay in sandals. So I think I booked the flight for 2 weeks, I think it was. And then I literally went on Google and I was like, how do you stay with a local family? Or things like that, And so that's how I discovered these platforms like couch surfing, which I don't know if you know about that. It's a platform where you can like sleep on strangers' couches for free. And these other platforms that I now have used throughout my travels. And so I ended up couch surfing in Jamaica. So I stayed with this lady who lived like our Fern Gully, if anyone knows where that is. It's like not like super bush, but a bit.
It's like country again for the Caribbean.
Kind of,
country.
yeah. So yeah, I stayed with this lady who I'd never met before on her sofa.
And was all of this film? Was this travel?
Well, no, because remember this was the year 2013.
13.
So back then, I think I had like a BlackBerry and like a digital camera. But like back then, you don't really take videos. Like the generation that's coming up now, they like snap everything, like Snapchat, whatever. But like back then, like we had like social media, but it was for like photos. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like MySpace and
the internet wasn't that fast enough for the
stuff was more about like writing and pictures in my opinion. So I just documented my trip like any normal person would back then, with like a couple photos. But even back then, you know, now in this generation we snap like 100 photos to make sure we look good. But back then you just take like one. Do you know what I mean? So
sunrise or
you don't have like a million photos. So from that trip, I think I only have like 20 photos. Or like not many.
And you still have photos of that trip?
Yeah. I sometimes make TikToks and I have them. But anyways, when I came back from that trip, okay, so before I went on that trip, I obviously told some people, oh, I'm going to Jamaica, I'm going to be couch surfing, staying on not random, but like a local person's couch. And of course, so many people ranging from friends to strangers to whoever, said, oh, like Jamaica,
I would have said no to.
They're going to harvest your organs, all these things. And I was kind of like, well, I don't see why they would. Like, that would be a strange thing to do, and obviously I'd read the reviews. So on Couchsurfing, you can leave like reviews. So I read reviews of other people that had stayed with this lady. They said it was great. And I'd had like one, it wasn't a FaceTime, it was like a Skype call with her, So I had actually spoken to her and I just liked her vibe. So I just thought like it'll be fine, obviously. So yeah, people were like saying really negative things. Like, oh, Jamaica's so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. And then, which obviously I'm not like discounting, because obviously it does have like a high murder rate, but they wouldn't usually have a reason to like murder me. So anyway, went there and I just had like the best time ever for 2 weeks. I mean, I was like 19 and...
So there were no part of you like scared?
Not until I had to take 2 planes, and the second plane was from Miami, and I remember I got on the second plane and it was like smaller, it was one of those like budget airlines, and my seat was like right by the wing, and it was my first time going in a plane by myself. I'd been in planes with my family, but it was my first time like being on a plane by myself. And I remember like there was this delay to the flight and they had to like do a bit of maintenance or something, and this man with a literal toolbox that you would use to like fix this shelf goes on the wing, and he's like fixing the wing with like a toolbox, and I'm like, what the hell? And I was like right by looking out like to the wing, and I was like,
you in the plane looking at him?
Yeah, because my seat was like the one like by the wing.
Yeah, let me out.
And I was just like, is anyone else saying this? And then like, so that happened, and plus, I was like so tired because it had been like this long flight from England to America, and then like this layover. So you're a bit like agitated and tired. And then I reached, and it was late, like it was dark. I can't remember what time, but it was not super late, maybe 8-9 p.m. when I reached. And of course, back then it's not so easy to get like Wi-Fi or like data with your roaming and all that. Like our phones were just different back then. So like when I landed, I think I didn't have any like data or signal or whatever, and the lady, the couch surfing host, had said she would be there to pick me up and I would just see her, she'd just like be there, but obviously I come from a culture where like, oh no, but you're gonna get a red car and I'm gonna, I come from a culture that's more, but she was like, no, I'll just like be there, okay. So I get there now, it's like dark, I'm like so tired, like so like sweaty, so thirsty, come out there like never been in the Caribbean before, and then there's just all the taxi drivers like swarm you like, oh why do you want a taxi, like blah, blah, and I'm just like, no, my friend's coming, even though in my head I'm like, is she coming, because like I couldn't see her, it's like raining, dark, like I'm really hot because I got like a tracksuit and stuff. Anyway, so then I'm just like thinking like, where's this lady, like she said I would just like see her, and then I just couldn't see her, and so all the taxi drivers like, are you sure she's coming, you don't want me to just take you, blah, blah. I'm like, she's coming, in my head I'm like, is she? And then like eventually she comes maybe like half an hour late, which like fair enough, it had been raining and I'm sure there was traffic or whatever. And then I remember on the way back to her house we stopped at one of these, I don't know what you would call it, but it's like when you're driving along the road and there's like kind of like a car park with just like 4 shops in it, like I don't know what the name of that, and like it might have like a bar, but it might have like a couple shops, and she was like, oh, I just need to stop here and like get something, and then went in this like bar, but it was kind of like a strip club. Like there was like strippers like outside, and like fair enough, but like it just wasn't what I was expecting to see on like when I arrived.
Yeah.
And then I thought she was just gonna get like a water or something, because my mum always drilled into my head like, don't get in the car with anyone who's drunk alcohol, you know. And then because in England it's like actually maybe not quite so common to like drink and drive as maybe in my experience it is like in the Caribbean. So anyway, she went in there, and then she got like, you know, in Jamaica in these bars you don't ask for, in England if you ask for a rum and coke it's one cup, but in Jamaica if you ask for a rum and coke it's like a bottle of rum and a bottle of coke, right? Obviously I'd never seen that. So yeah, we go there and she asked for like a bottle of probably Appleton and a bottle of, I think it was cran water. It's like this cranberry drink that they drink there. And I was just thinking, oh my god, this person's driving me, and she's bought a whole bottle of rum. And then like we go back to the car, and then she just puts them on top of the car. There's just these strippers in the car park, and she's just like gets the cop and yeah. And she was like, do you want some? I was like, no, thank you. In my head I was like, I just really want to sleep. I'm like, please, just, like, don't kill us on the way there. So anyway, I'm just like, when in Rome, like, you know. So then yeah, we obviously get home, and then she was like, the sheets are in the cupboard, that's the sofa. You need anything? And in my head I was like, basically I remembered, I was really thirsty, but I remembered that I'd had to go to the doctor before going there to get like travel injections, like hepatitis, whatever. And the doctor had told me in Jamaica, whatever you do, don't drink the pipe water. They call it tap water. Yeah, the pipe water, because you could get like hepatitis or whatever it is. So I was like, well, of course at the time, like I listened, right? Because naturally I would.
2013.
And so, you know, I don't know any better. So then, like, we get there and she's like, oh, do you need anything? And I was like, oh, like, I was really hungry, but I was like, oh, just some water, you know. So I was thinking she might say, there's a bottle over there. And she was like, the cups are in the cupboard, the pipe's there. And in my head I was like, dun, dun, dun. So I was like, oh no. So I was like, do I die of like dehydration or do I die of hepatitis? So I was like, let's take the risk of the hepatitis or whatever the hell it was. So I just like there with the tap, like watching the thing, like oh no, just like getting flashbacks to like what the doctor said. And then obviously I just drink it, and then I was like, hopefully it'll be fine. And then obviously from like the next day, you know, I just had the best time, and of course I saw like everybody drinks the water, so I don't care. You know, like everything became just like fine. Yeah, literally had like the best time. So all of that is to say that when I came back to England now, and people were like, oh, how was it? I was like, well, yeah, you were all wrong, because actually people were really helpful and friendly, and you know, had a great time, and my organs didn't get harvested. So then I'm a person like, I don't know, I like to like kind of prove people wrong and stuff, you know, and if people are wrong, I like to like talk about it.
So that's the reason why you pick up the camera.
So right, so but at the time, like vlogging wasn't so much a thing. So I made a website on WordPress, like I paid for a website domain, and I was like, oh, I need to know travel with Zoe. Like, yeah. So then I made that website, and I wrote like articles with like, and I inserted like photos from my digital camera about the trip. So like, oh, this is what I liked about Jamaica. This is how you go to this river that we went to, you know. And it was just like articles, and I thought like, you know, my friends could read it, or my family, or like anyone who wants to. I think I shared it on my like Facebook or whatever it was at the time, you know. And then I carried on with that blog, you know, for my other trips, which I would take when I could, as I was telling you, between jobs and stuff. So I used to just blog, not blog. So the vlogging really started in 2022, right? Yeah, because I realised, well, like not that many people want to read articles anymore. They more want like videos.
Yeah, people want to see, and I feel like if they're there with you, like their experience with it.
Yeah. Even though like me personally, I can really feel like I love like writing and I like reading. So me personally, I can actually feel that way through reading an article. Like I think if an article's good, I think you can feel that way too. But I think people are just maybe a bit lazy to read now.
Yeah, I feel like the new age phones kind of changed the way we perceive information from going from writing to reading to actually watching visuals now.
Yeah.
So moving to that.
So I just like TikTok was kind of a thing in 2022 when I quit my job. TikTok happened to be like the kind of thing of the moment, you know. It was like fairly new and people were like.
So that's where you started on TikTok.
Yeah, and I didn't really have a specific like plan. I just thought like, well, let's post content, like you know, because even as Instagram had become more like prolific throughout like the years on my travels, I would like, you know, I enjoyed like posting on Instagram. I enjoyed making a couple of Instagram stories, talking to the camera about, because I had a lot of crazy experiences on my travels, because naturally I'm usually going by myself on a low budget, so there was always things to talk about, right? And like I always got like a lot of people replying like, oh, this is really interesting, I want to see more, you know. I knew there was like some interest there.
When I want to ask you something first, and I'll ask this question, right? Because you spoke about building a love for dancehall and soca, right? And I understand like your favorite dancehall artist is Movado.
Well, I don't know, because it was Vibes Cartel, and then like when I was in Guyana like recently and Movado was coming for the concert, I like stalked him outside the radio station.
Yeah, so you got to meet him. You got to meet him.
Yeah, and like he was just like.
So she was with you for hours.
Yeah, because come on, like I'm a really serious fangirl, so that's why I find it funny when
Did you
people
approach him?
fangirl to. Yeah, I was the only one. I was the only one. This one, yeah. So there was like the radio station that has this area, maybe the size of this room, in like between the road and the door, right? So let's say that's the road and that's the door to the radio station, and like maybe about 20 people had the same idea as me, so they were there like waiting, ready with their phone, you know, dotted around like one there, whatever, and then like. We're waiting for hours and hours, and then like this van, kind of like a minibus kind of thing, like pulls up, and we realise it's like obviously him, and then it's just like this silence. You can tell everyone's thinking, oh, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna talk to us? You know, I could just feel like the silence like in the air. And then like he gets out, not just with one manager, but obviously with this entourage of like, I don't know, 8 people. He's got like the towel over his head, and it's just like silent. When they get out, they don't even say anything really. You know what I mean? It's just this like heavy silence. I don't know, and everyone's just like watching, and like you know they all look a bit. Like, I don't know what word to use, but it's all men. It's, like, they don't look like the most approachable group. If you're going to stereotype them, they look a bit like...
Yeah, you may rub them the wrong way or something.
You know, they've all got their big chains and, like, they all look a bit serious in their expression.
Puggish, you know?
You know what I mean? I don't want to, like, label them, but I'm just saying stereotypically that's kind of how they look or whatever. So they're all just, like, walking there, all, like, manly and... You know what I mean? Like, just going, like, straight for the door. And no one moves. And in my head, I was like... Someone has to, so I just literally was the first one. I just walked over to him, even though he just had like his towel in his head and everything. And I was just like, "Hi, I'm gonna have a picture with you." And he was literally so nice. He was like, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" Like, "Yeah, of course you can." And yeah.
So what happened between Movado and Skinny? Why didn't you approach Skinny?
Oh well, I think
because you were fun. You said you were a fun girl, you know. But that's
I think maybe it was like when I saw Skinny Fabulous in the airport. For those who don't know, I was on a layover in Barbados coming here. Like, he was just in the line, but then I was thinking, oh, I'll just try and get behind him in the line, like, oh, by accident. But then someone else got there first, not on purpose. I don't think the people would recognise him, but like other people were there. So then I was thinking, oh, it's a bit awkward. I'm gonna have to like pass people in the line to like. Yeah, it's a bit much. You just do too much. I don't know. And like.
So you didn't get the opportunity at all.
No, but I could have. But like, I just thought like, and I just know what it's like because now. Like, not to sound, I don't know, I find it awkward to talk about this, but like, there are moments when I'll be like sitting in, I don't know, a restaurant or like something, and like literally multiple people will be like approaching me, and when one person's come and I've said hello and we've said goodbye, I'll think, okay, now I can like check my flight time, or now I can like call my mom, or you know, and you're about to like, or you're in the middle of like writing an email, like something, or editing a video, and then like someone else comes in, and which is like cool because it's always nice to talk to them, but it's just then sometimes you're like, oh shit, I forgot to do this, or you know, and I just, so now that I like know what it's like, of course not on his level, no way do I know what it's like to be on his level, but I know what it's like to like have people come in your space often, and so sometimes I just think like I don't want to be that person, because sometimes I know like I might just want to like get on this flight, you know, he could have had a busy morning, he could be really tired, he was probably there for a booking. Well, I stalked his Instagram and I realised that he had had a booking, I think that actually the night before. So I was just like
stalking going on.
I'm like really good at stalking. I'm very shameless. I don't care. So yeah, I just thought let me just give him like his space, you know. And I think also now that like some people know who I am, like maybe it's a bit harder to be shameless now, because then like I don't know. I think I'm more conscious of things now because I think he does know who I am. Because
I feel like he will too. Yeah.
In fact, I know he does because somebody had a conversation. I know that he does, right? And so I just kind of like don't want to give like a weird impression. I don't know, because you know I want to actually interview him and stuff. Like I want to give the right impression. Is it that
you're more of a fan to Skinny Fabulous than Movado, where it was more easier for you to approach a big crowd with Movado than?
No, I think it's more because like Skinny Fabulous actually knows who I am, so it's like more awkward. Whereas like Movado doesn't know who I am.
Really? So it's more awkward because they know you just get the
yeah, because it's like I'm supposed to pretend like. Because put it this way, like I've shared stages with like Chris Martin, with like Skeng, people like that, right? And I can't be in the backstage tent like, oh my god, Skeng, because I'm sharing a stage with you. I'm singing a man who's just on the same stage as you, right? So I have to act like, oh, I'm famous too, even though I don't feel that way, right? So like, surely if Skinny Fabulous knows who I am, I'm supposed to be like this, then I'm not supposed to like come running up to him because I'm supposed to be like.
Yeah, what's up?
You get it, like, right, like, yeah, you know what I mean, like, because,
hold it down,
so it's like, I don't know. But then it depends on your mood, because on another day, I'm sure I would run up to him. You know, it just depends on your mood. Like, I don't know. Everyone has.
I guess at that point you are being very selfless as well. As in, yeah,
and I have like my big backpack, and like it's a bit awkward, isn't it? Like, how are you gonna hug me? Like, you know, it's just not always.
So many things, boy. So many things.
And like, I was kind of like looking a bit like dishevelled as well, so it wouldn't even be a good picture.
You should analyze every situation.
I don't know. Yeah, I am a big analyzer, especially because I'm often like by myself. It leaves like more time to like analyze things, you know. Because like, you know, if I was with a friend in that situation, they'd just be like, "Oh, go," and you wouldn't study, and you just go, right? But yeah.
So how do we go from traveling blogger to artist?
Yeah.
Oh, well, basically, I feel like I've told this story so many times, but basically, I like to interview people. As I said, I would have liked to interview Skin Fabulous, hopefully one day I will. And so yeah, I had this phase in Trinidad of like doing loads of interviews on that trip. So yeah, I had run into Aaron Duncan, who's an artist in Trinidad, actually in the supermarket, and and I had been like, oh my god, Aaron Duncan, can I like interview you? And he was like, yeah. And then so he gave me his number, and then he has a studio in his house, so we went there for the interview because it makes sense. It's somewhere quiet, you know, to do an interview. And then the interview was going normal. I was asking him like, oh, you were so young when you started singing. How was that? How was school? Da, da, da. Normal. And then I was like, okay, you also produce music. Can you talk me through how you do that? Can you show me on your laptop like how you go from step 1, step 2, you know? So he opened up the laptop and he was like, well, here are the rhythms that I've made. And like, he was like, oh, you choose one that you want to see or whatever. I can't remember how it happened, but I chose the Summer Steam rhythm, which is the song that like Single on.
Yeah, Single. And
then he played the rhythm, and then he just like made a freestyle about like the deodorant can that was on his table or something. Like he made some freestyle about like something that was there, and I was like, I could never do that. Like that's crazy. I could literally not do that. And then he was like, no, I bet you can. Like, why don't you make a song? Like, you like soca. And I was like, no, are you out of your mind? Like, what? How could I do that? Like, I can't sing. I'm quite awkward at like performing type things. Like, no. And then he was like, no, you can't. Like, anyone can. And I was like, no, I can't. Like, what the hell are you on about? And then eventually he carried on. No, but he wanted me to make it by myself, and then in the end I was like, fine, I'll do it if you do it with me, like a collab, because then I'll be embarrassed with someone else, not just me, you know? Yeah. And then he was like, okay, fine. So I was like, okay. And then he was like, what do you want to sing about? Like, think of a topic. I thought of a few topics, and then one of the topics I thought of was like how, at the time I was genuinely like just single and trying to travel a lot, and I really was just happy to be like kind of on my own and not having like the expectation of calling someone every day, or the criticism of like, why are you always flying here and here, you know? So the lyrics were like really true for me at the time, because I was quite annoyed that like every day on TikTok Live, which is still being the case like since then, every day on TikTok Live and in my comments people are like, oh, but why are you traveling by yourself? You need a man to protect you. You should settle down. You're 32. You know, all these comments about like man every day, as if life revolves around man. Like, it's just so annoying because there's just so many more exciting things in life than men. So anyway, the song was really actually an expression of like how I really felt, obviously, but put into like a funny way. And then so I wrote like my part and he wrote his part, and then we just like did it, and I thought that was like a practice, and then he was like, okay, it's recorded, and I was like, wow, what? Like I thought we were just seeing how it is, like what? And he was like, yeah, now we can make a quick video and put it on TikTok, and I was like, what? It's recording, it's making a song that easy, like what? So then we just made it like for a TikTok, not for a song, because of course it was only like 1 minute long, it wasn't a length of a whole song really. And then we just put it on TikTok for like fun, to like shock people and just have fun. And then I sat on his sofa in the studio, and both our phones, like my phone's never gone so crazy, it was just like exploding. And even like someone messaged me, I think that same night, being like, I want to bring you on this show that Young Brother is headlining. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what the hell do you mean? And so then we were like, oh, we've done something crazy here, like, you know? And then everything just escalated from there. Did a music video.
So then what made you continue doing music?
Oh, so then obviously in this life, people always want to like take advantage of people quite a lot. So if they see an opportunity for like them to make money out of someone else, they'll usually try to do that. So because, you know, that song kind of went viral on TikTok, people obviously thought things like, oh, I have an upcoming artist, maybe if they do a song with Zoe, maybe it'll go viral. You know, they just wanted to like, it doesn't mean you rate me as a person or anything, it just means you think it'll be a sensible business move, right? So I had like calls from like artist managers and things like this, like, but mostly I feel like I'm experienced enough in life to kind of know usually when someone just wants to like use me or whatever. So for a lot of them I was just like no, because I actually like some of Aaron Duncan's songs. Like I'm actually a fan of some of his songs, so that's why it was exciting for me to do that song with him. Whereas like if you're like a random artist that like I've never heard of or I don't like your music, why would I like want to do that, you know? So yeah, I said no to a lot of them, but then the second one ended up happening because Big P, who's like a Zest artist in Trinidad, we ended up like meeting at a Juve, and like I recognised him and he recognised me, and we ended up like sharing a microphone. That was my first ever time that I performed No Man No Stress, because we were at this like Juve and the DJs was just like come and they just put it on. I was like okay, so he was there because he was also performing, so we ended up kind of like sharing the mic, and like he did like some of his songs, I did that, you know, he kind of helped me with Aaron Duncan's part, whatever, and we just had like a good vibe on stage, so we just end up like swapping numbers and being like, oh, maybe we should link up and like go to studio or make content or whatever. So yeah, we just ended up going to studio because we had a nice vibe, and then we made 2 songs in the end, and then it was just a case where after that, like sometimes I would travel to like other islands and maybe, so for example with Umpa in St. Lucia, when I was in St. Lucia, like, so I think I met someone who was his friend, and that person was like, oh, maybe you could interview him, and I was like, oh, I'd love to. And then when I went there to actually interview him, like there was a studio right there because his like brother has a studio, so we just end up going in there and making a song, you know. It just kind of end up happening just naturally, like
it never really planned, it just happened.
There's a few times it's more being planned, but like
no
often no means no happened because I was in Miami. You've actually done, I'm very impressed by your research, because that song is the only song I truly care about, and it's the one that nobody knows. Anyway, yeah, that's why it's important to me. So like no, that's a good example. So no means no happened because basically I was in Miami for Miami Carnival. Somebody I knew from Instagram who is a producer, Pronto.
Big up Pronto.
Yeah, so Pronto had brought his equipment to Miami because Pronto lives closer to New York, I believe, and he had brought his equipment to Miami. And basically, I was supposed to be doing a collab with Trinidad Killer. We had like planned this over WhatsApp. Like I'd sent him a demo, he'd sent me a rhythm, I'd sent him a demo, and Trinidad Killer was coming to Miami. He knows Pronto, so basically, me and Trinidad Killer were supposed to record a song with Pronto in Miami. Trinidad Killer was just having fun in Miami. He wasn't really studying to go studio, I don't think, or maybe he just changed his mind, or I don't really know what happened with him. I still can't answer that to this day, because to be honest, I really wanted to make that song, and I really liked the demo, and I really liked the rhythm, and I thought it was a really fun concept, and I'm actually still a bit sad that we didn't make that song, but everything happens for a reason. So I could not get that man in the studio. I don't know, he's like impossible to pin down. He'll be like, yeah, I'll be here like in this party at this time, and he's just like not there. I think he was just having fun, and just I just kind of gave up. But then I thought, well, okay, why don't I just go and do something with Pronto anyway, because, you know, just see what happens. So I think we'd been at maybe a party together, and I ended up going with him and his girlfriend to where they were staying, and just, I think we had gone there with the idea of then calling Trinidad Killer, but then like he didn't answer or something, you know. And so then I was like, well, I'm already here, like, and I was actually in my Juve outfit, like I hadn't had a shower or like anything, so it was kind of uncomfortable, and I was like covered in paint or whatever it was. But yeah, I already had this rhythm that somebody had been asking me to go on, so I gave it to him, and then, well, we just kind of did it. It wasn't really planned.
Is Zoe an artist? Is Zoe an artist?
I would say that like my primary thing is a content creator, but then technically, surely, if I've made royalties money, which I have, from my music, and I've written songs, and I've spent time in studios, and I've performed on stages with the likes of Christy Martin, then surely one could argue that, I don't know, but like I don't really care about what I'm called. Like if you want to call me an influencer, you can. If you want me to call me an artist, you can. If you want to call me unemployed who just travels the world with a backpack, you can. I don't really care what you call me. Do you know what I mean?
And like, because the artist thing, because we recently dropped a song about like 2-3 weeks ago, Simple Maths as well.
Yeah.
So like I was like, okay, so
I see the biggest fan over here.
I was like, okay, like yeah, so the fun music thing.
So she's an artist.
Yeah,
no, but that happened because literally all these songs have an explanation. So that happened because, so obviously Aaron had a great time last summer because he had the Summer's Theme rhythm, which after we came out with single, then Lady Lava went on the rhythm, and more people went on the rhythm, and it was like the rhythm of the summer in Trinidad. Yeah. So then he obviously enjoys making rhythms, whatever, and so he had made this rhythm, the same one as Simple Maths, which is called the Steamology rhythm, and he wanted it to be, well, it's like a summer rhythm for this summer now. So of course, when somebody makes a rhythm, they send it out to various artists,
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I want you on this" or whatever. And he sent it to me, and he was like, "I want you on this." So I was like, "This is so funny! Like, here we go again," kind of thing. And so, if Aaron Duncan makes a rhythm and you think it's a good rhythm, and he says he wants you on it, well, why would you say no? Like, do you know what I mean? So we're like, cool. So I'm there, and yeah.
You see, before we move on, right? What we need for next year, Vincy Carnival, is we need a track now with you and OG Park.
No, but the thing is, he actually slid into my DMs last year at Carnival and told me let's do a feature. Yeah, he was like, let's do a feature, and I was like, oh, no problem, but I'm not here for much longer, because at the time he messaged me, I think I was leaving in a few days or something. Yeah. And the problem is, which I was talking to him about earlier, is that with a lot of these islands, like I come musically like at the wrong time, because when I arrived here the carnival's happening in let's say a week or so, so like it's obviously too late, because not only do you have to go studio, then they have to mix and master it, whatever. So it's like I have no problem even today if he had said let's go into, well, we actually did call up a studio today, but they were like asleep or something. So like I would have gone today and we would have just made it, and I suppose sat on it until next year, which is a bit annoying because I'm like kind of impatient, but yeah, it's just always like the wrong timing.
I think like this is your third time here, so we should be expecting you back again next year, correct?
Oh, I definitely want to.
Do you enjoy Vincy, man?
I think she loves Vincy.
This is my favourite carnival. I don't care anymore.
I was going to ask
you I kind of like really did like it from the this is my third time in a row, and I kind of did really like it from the beginning, but I wasn't ready to like claim it as my favourite. I was like, we have to see, Yeah, I have decided it is official, and I can change my mind in the future for sure. But as of now,
Vincy,
this is the carnival that I need.
Before we move on the artist thing, real quick, how did the backlash behind the Big P music video?
Red Thong. I don't know people
how did that affect you being a creative?
Well, so there were two music videos. So the first music video was for the song Come Big P, the one that's like, Come Big P, I'm really smashed. And in that video, I was wearing a red thong. And there was backlash to that video, which is why we then wrote the song called Red Thongs and made another video, right? So the backlash was not actually to the Red Thongs song, it was to the previous, to Come Big P, right? So when that happened,
did that change your mindset?
It's like it's changed a lot of things. So when that happened, I was literally in Tobago because a water sports company that has like the donuts that you sit in and they tow it behind the boat. Yeah, they had like literally flown me to Tobago and hosted me for a couple of days because they wanted me to make content with their water sports. So I was literally like on a boat in Tobago when like all this was popping off online, and I just thought that's quite ironic because all these people are here making videos about me like, oh, she's such a bad person or whatever, and I'm literally just unbothered on a boat in Tobago that someone's throwing me out for. So I was kind of like, the timing couldn't be like more perfect to really demonstrate that like in this life, if people are going to sit there and make videos about you because they're sad in their house, like it shouldn't really matter once you're doing what you love, And like I just think, to be honest, it's such a long topic because I think like I really already believe that obviously there's so much misogyny in the world and there's like so many double standards regarding men and women, and like the genre of that music is Zest, and like Zest is generally quite explicit.
One thing to realize, like especially in music industry, but whatever you do, you really can't please everyone, right? So no matter what type of content you put out there, someone else have a negative review.
But like I really like Don't Mind because I personally believe that it was never about what they said it was about. It was never about how much skin you can see, because you can see that much skin at Carnival, okay? So we can cancel that one out.
You can see that much skin on the beach.
Right. And actually, if a girl shows that much skin, because to me it highlighted not only sexism but also classism, because like I'm showing that much skin in Sea Lots, which for people who don't know is like a ghetto or whatever in Trinidad where Big P was living at the time. So I'm showing that much skin in Sea Lots with Big P, who is deemed to be a person who's, ghetto or whatever, right? Whereas if I had paid $1,000 US for a costume and I was on the road with like Tribe or whatever in Trinidad Carnival and I was posing on the street and you were seeing that much skin, it will be praised, it will be beautiful, it'll be your body is tea, right? So it's giving classism already, even if you want to forget about the sexism. So like just the whole thing to me was just giving, do you know what I mean? Like those kind of vibes. So to me, like it's just meaningless because I can see through it, like, and people like Young Brother or whatever, even though they sing about like explicit things, they still go and do like speeches for the youth and they get like invited here and here as like a positive role model, right? Because actually, breaking news, guys, adults can do things like that it doesn't mean they're suggesting that children do it. Like, I hitchhike, I stand by the street and I get in cars by myself, but I'm not saying children should do this, I'm saying I do this. So in that video, I was portraying like a consensual, fun, like, you know, physical experience with a man. Yeah, I'm all for consensual sex with men. It doesn't mean I'm telling 5-year-olds to do it. The same way I'm not telling them to drink puncheon, but I can make a fun video that I drank puncheon or sunset with my friends, but I'm not telling 5-year-olds to drink puncheon. So it's like I just don't, you know, like.
But has it affected the travel with Zoe Brand?
Well, it's hard to say really. Like, I think it brought like more interest. It like split the opinion more. I think. Yeah, I think it just split the opinion more. So like, there are maybe certain brands. So for example, I got invited onto the Rude Boy podcast, which I feel like maybe it could have happened before, but maybe that was like more likely because of that. Whereas maybe I'm sure there are certain brands or people who no longer. In fact, like there was this one. I remember this one content creator in Trinidad who. He's one of those people who like always makes videos about like news articles. So he's like, oh, look at this, guys, today a 5-year-old was kidnapped, you know, those ones. And he would sometimes also talk about like influencers. So he had sometimes talked about me and my scandals and stuff like before, but he was always supportive of me, you know, like, oh, Zoe did this beach cleanup, it's so good, and all of that. And he was always like, yeah, supportive of me. And then he made a video and it was like, oh, she's ungodly, and she's, because he's religious, right? And he made this really like, you know, negative video about me, like, and then since then all he ever does is comment like negative things under my videos or whatever. And it's like, so to see like the switch up from just like this one thing was like so fascinating to me. And like some people are acting like I'm this new person and blah blah blah, and it's like I just don't even think it was that much of a big deal, because I feel like I've always kind of advocated for like doing what you want and just not really caring about the opinions of society and like not really caring about like gender standards, and I just feel like I've always advocated for that. So like to me, I don't think it should have been that surprising, you know.
But you could always acknowledge that you still have a certain power, a level of power towards a younger generation as well too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
that.
It always like actually I've always thought it's weird. Like even before the Red Thongs, like I've always thought it was weird when like a 6-year-old would like come up to me and like talk about that I was cooking soup last night or whatever, because I just didn't think my content would be interesting for 6-year-olds. Because genuinely, like, why would a 6-year-old care about my vegan soup? Like, it genuinely like still surprises me to this day.
I mean, the biggest question is like, normally, I mean, back in my time, of course, you won't find a 6-year-old on
like, having a smartphone or whatever. Yeah.
Especially
access change.
But again, like, so of course, I do know. I mean, if you look at like Carnival here, who came up to me on the street to ask for photos, it was adults, but it was a lot of like 13-year-old girls, things like that. But again, like I just think that like on any 13-year-old girl who opens her phone is going to see so many things she shouldn't do.
Correct.
She shouldn't see somebody on TikTok going to a club. Well, they know I'm not 18, so I can't go to the club. Like maybe this can inspire me that maybe I might want to go clubbing when I'm 18, but I know I can't go to the club because I'm 13. They see people smoking, they can't do that. Like I think they kind of know that sometimes adults do things that are for adults, you know. And I think it's their parents' job and school's job and whatever to kind of create that differentiation like for them, you know. So I don't know.
And I've seen less and less more travel vlogs. What's happening there? I haven't seen as much travel vlogs as before.
I think I still try to post every day at least once, if not like twice or more. And I think it depends what you class as a travel vlog. Like I think I do a lot of like food reviews.
You're more into like different type of content that you put out there now in terms of like interviews with artists, reviews and so on.
But then it's like, does food reviews count as travel content because my food reviews are in different countries? Like I don't know what, because travel content is slightly more.
I'm talking about backpacks. I'm talking about backpacks. What happened to backpacks?
I think now it depends on the trip. So like on this trip, for example, I've been here before. I was coming partly to explore and partly for the carnival, and I wasn't really going to be moving around to this accommodation on this night and this friend on this night. So I actually brought a suitcase because I wanted to have outfits if I was going to go to like fetes and things like that, and because I'm going to Barbados after where I might need outfits and whatever. So this wasn't so much of like a backpacking kind of trip. I think now there's just like different types of trips, and especially like now that I have a bigger platform and like a bigger network, I have like more like opportunities for different types of trips because I might have a certain connection where somebody might like invite me here for this or whatever. So I definitely still want to do like those types of trips. For example, I really want to go to like India, and that type of trip. There's just different types of trips. So if I went to India, I'm 99% sure I would just go with my same red backpack, just put in some random, outfits that that aren't so like pretty or whatever, and I would just rotate the same like 5 outfits or whatever, just have my basic hairbrush, my basic toothbrush, whatever, and you would see, I'm taking this bus today and this train and hitchhiking and whatever, like, I really have so many more plans, not specific plans, but like things I want to do.
And speaking of travel, what happened at Fenton?
Oh, well, it's normal for me to try and go somewhere and it fails, but it's all part of the adventure. Like, I really don't mind.
You
like,
ever found back this guy that told you about where to go?
Oh no, I'd have to look for him in the bus park. But I feel like his friend, he must have seen it somehow. Like, he must know it was him. I was thinking maybe he would comment, but I'm not like blaming him. I mean, I feel like maybe the path must have been like overgrown. But that's happened to me like so many times. And really in these countries, like, I don't mind if I like particularly find this restaurant or find this waterfall. I just want to be outside, because like being outside, you're just experiencing the people, the scenery, like the culture. So however the adventure ends up, as long as I went out for the day and saw something new, it's like kind of fine. So
staying on adventure, right? You notably took a 3-month volunteer experience in Moruga, Trinidad.
In 2015, yeah.
Yeah, and what was that like? I heard you were, working at markets and so on, and
Yeah, so basically the place is called One Family Farm, and they have a platform online where you can like kind of apply to go and volunteer there if you're looking to like backpack and travel on a budget to Trinidad. So yeah, I had applied online, and so I kind of had an idea of what it might be like. They said it was very rural and community focused and whatever, and that was like I'd only been to the Caribbean maybe like twice before, just the Jamaica trip, and I think I'd been to Barbados for crop over. So I think that was my 3rd time going to the Caribbean. So I was still quite new. The accent was still very strong for me, But that 3 months was like really special. I actually have a tattoo about that place.
You got a tattoo to signify your bond with the community.
Yeah, because it was like, I had never experienced living in a community that really feels like a community. Where I grew up, there was just like one house, and I was never like in a community, so I'd actually always kind of dreamed of like being in a community, because I'd read about it in books, and like you hear about like some people that go and play with their neighbors every day and that kind of thing, and I'd always really wanted to experience that. So like I felt that finally at the age of, how old was I, like 22 or whatever, I actually was able to do that, and I was like, wow, like I know for some people they just grow up like that, but that's something I always wanted. And it was like, you could just go to the neighbor, and like if they have pumpkins growing and you have carrots and they need a pumpkin and you need a carrot, you can, or like if you just don't have any oil, they come with the cup. If they don't have any oil, they come with a cup, and you put some oil without like question, and you're walking down. It was mainly made up of like one main street, so if you just walk down that street, it's like, oh, morning, and they know your name and you know their name, and like that was just something that I'd never had before. And there was always people like playing card games and like cooking, and there was like kids everywhere, and sometimes I might like help this kid with their homework, or this child might ask me if I want to go and see something cool at the river, and they take me and show me, I don't know, some tree that has something you can eat on it or whatever, so it was just
you were like their family there.
Yeah, I mean, they make that experience for everyone. Like, I would say is something I'd recommend to everyone, because everyone who comes there, no matter, and this is something I also find so amazing about that family, is that like, you might think, oh, if they're hosting, because they host you, you don't pay, right? So in exchange for your volunteering, they give you like a room, and you get to cook like things from the farm, and they also provide basic groceries like rice and stuff that doesn't grow on the farm. And so you might think, oh, they need you to do like loads of work, and they need to get their value out of you. But like, even if you don't know about farming, or you're not strong or whatever, they literally, I'm not joking, anybody can go to that farm, and like they will find something you're good at, and they will like make you feel amazing about yourself. Like they'll celebrate you for you, like even if all you're good at is like you love drawing, okay, they'll get you to paint a wall on their house with a beautiful mural, and they'll make you feel amazing that you did that, like you contributed something to the farm.
I'll be there, like,
and so I just feel like, imagine if the whole world was like that. Imagine if in the whole world you could borrow anything that your neighbor has, they will share it with you. And imagine if like everybody looked for the best in everyone, because I believe that every single human has a talent, and they have stuff to offer. And that farm is the only place I've ever seen where like that's the belief there, really, like, so just imagine if the whole world like treated everybody like they're actually valuable, and like their talents, even if it's something small, even if it's something unconventional,
is amazing. Like imagine if we all did that to everyone, then people wouldn't feel a need to like go and rob houses or whatever, because they wouldn't feel like, oh, I'm stupid and I'm good for nothing, I just need to.
Feel valuable.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because we literally are all valuable. So to me, that place was just like so special because of like their philosophies and stuff. So yeah.
Because the tattoo that you have for there.
Well, it won't make sense to you, but that's like the map coordinates of the farm itself, and then that's Moruga scorpion peppers because it's a type of peppers that they grow in Moruga.
Chili peppers, like hot peppers.
Yeah, they're really hot. Yeah.
Wow.
So what experience, let's say from 2022 to 2025, changed Zoe forever? What experience you would say changed Zoe forever? Or people?
Well, I would say the farm, but the farm was back in 2015. So I would say that definitely like changed me, and that made me fall in love with Trinidad, which has then influenced the rest of my travels because I go back to Trinidad so much. But since 2022, I think there's some stuff I can't like fully talk about on here because some of it ends up sounding political and I don't want to get like deported from any country, but basically spending time in communities that are like very different from where I'm from and seeing how some people live and like, you know, the challenges that like some people face, and it's like just very like eye-opening, and it's like some of the stuff that I know about now or that I've experienced now or that I've witnessed now, like when I tell, obviously I don't go around telling everyone, but like if I'm talking to my mom or something and I recount to her something that happened maybe with the police or, you know, that kind of vibe, it's like she's never heard any story like that before. Like it's completely foreign from how like I grew up or how she might have grown up. So I think I just see the world differently now, and like I've definitely become a bit like what's the word, desensitized to like certain things, you know, and I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's something that happens.
It's
I
subjective.
think maybe
it's
I'm
subjective.
like a bit like more pessimistic about
You're pessimistic.
I used to think like we could save the world and like.
So you don't think we could save the world now?
You're getting to like see the wrath choosing a lot of things and like maybe.
I think like, because I used to think, yeah, like all the, you know, we should all be campaigning for free Palestine and all this, and then when I see that like how some people are just trying to meet their basic daily needs, you think they have time to campaign for Palestine? Like, you know what I mean?
True.
Like, so now I just feel like, you know what? Let's just all try and stay alive. If we need to drink puncheon to do that, if we need to smoke weed to do that, to not go crazy, like, let's just all stay alive. Like, we're all doing a great job from when we can just stay alive, and you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, with so much going on in the world right now, right? You have your problems, I have my problems, you have everything. You know, everyone has their own worries they have to go through on a day-to-day basis. So like, instead of going on a campaign to like about that guy over the problems, you have your things to worry about already, in a sense.
Yeah, but then obviously, like, I still wish we could all come together and like solve all the world's problems. But I'm just saying that like maybe before that, like
let's figure out some smaller.
There's other stuff that needs to be like fixed.
There's 1,000 steps before, you know.
Societal things like local to each country, and
there's more like there's more of your risky trips, right? Like your trip to Levantil in Trinidad. Like what was that like, the experience, like traveling there?
I mean, by that time I'd already been to like Haiti by myself.
Yeah, but technically, like, sorry to cut off, but technically, right? Like, I was born in Trinidad. Technically, like those areas, they're not as bad as it's displayed. Technically,
like to me, I can't say where I stay in Trinidad, but I stay in an area that's deemed to be the same.
Yeah, but
and like,
it's just small areas, bro.
It's like, okay, 90% of the time it's completely normal. People liming, people whatever, but it's just when it's not normal, it's very bad. Yeah. But when it's normal, it's normal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Know what to
it's
avoid.
Just that the very bad moments are very bad.
What I've been seeing is outside viewers, you know, who not really from the Caribbean, or outside viewers who don't really know the islands like that. They might be saying, okay, maybe you're allowed to go there and you're allowed to be safe like that because of white privilege. That was the kind
of that's not true.
That was the criticism.
That's not true.
I think it's more like, obviously I'm not an expert and like I'm not claiming to be, but I know, like I said, I literally stay in, I'm not going to say where, but somewhere very similar, and like, so I kind of know how it works. I kind of have spent like 6 months there, not in a row, but like if you add it up, maybe even more than that. And like, you know, the impression that some people paint is that there's like someone with a huge revolver on every single corner, and if you're not from there, they'll just
Right.
kill you or they'll just rob you. But it's not like basically they don't care. Once like a car that's driving through there seems normal, like they really don't care. The car can drive through there. Do you know what I mean? Because they think, well, it might be a taxi picking someone up, or it might be like someone's cousin visiting them, or like whatever. So yeah, they look like, what car is that that's driving through? Like, what does it look like? And if it's just like 3 women or whatever, well, they're not going to study it. Do you know what I mean? It could just go past. Whereas if it's maybe a car going really fast with
Fully
like 3
tinted
men
windows
in a
or-
hood, whatever,
That's
then
different.
they'll be like, hey, like, who's that? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it could be like a problem, but they don't want to, like, they don't want problems. Like, they're just trying to prevent themselves from like dying. So they just want to know, this person's coming in, are they trying to come for me? Like, you know what I mean? So they're not out there like searching for war. Like, yeah, like, so if you go in there and you're clearly not looking for any problems, like, they're just humans. Like, humans just generally want a nice life. Like, they're not, you know.
So is there any, or are there any Caribbean islands that you haven't went to that you want to go to?
Well, in the world, generally, like, I'm just quite open to anywhere. Like, I'd quite like to go to the Bahamas, but I've seen TikToks about, like, grocery hauls and stuff there, and it just looks, like, so expensive. Like, I know the Caribbean's expensive for groceries in general, but I saw, I don't know, a bag of rice is, like, 10 US or something crazy. I'm obviously exaggerating, but you know what I mean? Like, when I saw the grocery hauls, I was like, how would I survive there? Because that's crazy. But yeah, I would like to go to the Bahamas. Anywhere really, but I want to really see more places like far away from here, like India and like some more places in Latin America, like Honduras, El Salvador, some more places in like Africa. Like, I really want to go Ethiopia because I love Ethiopian food. But you know, the world's so big and the years just pass so quickly. Like, the year starts and I think, oh yeah, I'm going to go to like 10 new countries this year, and then all of a sudden it's like, oops, it's like August and you know.
Okay. And okay, so is the Zoe brand changing? Would you say the Zoe brand is changing?
I think as people, of course, we evolve all the time, and this what really happened, right? So like in the beginning, when my content started to pick up and like I was doing the daily vlogs about getting on this bus and this and that, I had seen like other travel creators from England, maybe around the same age as me, like in their 20s or whatever. I'd seen them get like brand deals from like online, I don't know, travel agencies or like tourism boards, or you know, I'd seen them, or backpack companies or suitcase companies, and I'd seen them make a living out of it. I'd seen them announce that this is how much I make in a month, I've quit my, you know, they were actually making a full-time living from like brand deals and stuff. So I thought, genuinely, and I've not really spoken about this much before, like I thought that, okay, well, I'm on the path to doing that, so I'm gonna not really show too much like alcohol in my content, I'm not gonna curse or swear in my content, and I'm gonna try and stick to travel content because I want to get these brand deals that these other girls and boys are getting. And then like it just didn't happen, and there was these creators I was watching, like specific British like white girls with a backpack, you know, and I was like taking note of how many followers they have, whatever, and like, you know, I like overtook them. I still didn't get the things. I emailed like hundreds, well maybe not hundreds, but like a lot of brands, like asking, you know, can I make a proposal or like whatever, and it was just like nothing. So then I started to think like maybe it's like the countries I'm going to, maybe these brands aren't so interested in like people who backpack in the Caribbean because it's not such a popular place to backpack, or like what, or maybe it's that like I'm too rustic with my stuff because some of these travelers, they like, yeah, they're backpacking, but maybe the places they eat don't look like these ITEL shops that sometimes just look like a little shack, you know, like maybe it's not visually pleasing to what would align with their brand. And I kind of felt like a bit annoyed by that because I felt like it was a bit unfair, and I felt like, you know, I'm posting every day, like I think my stuff's interesting. So in the end, I just kind of felt like, you know what, the stuff I've been holding back from, so funny things with alcohol, things with music, because I love music, right? Like I always wanted to make like some silly little skits or whatever to like soca songs or stuff like that, but I'd held back from that because I wanted to like be there ready for these brands, you know? So after like, I remember it was when I was in Colombia and I was just bored one day because it was raining, and there was this soca song, I thought of a funny skit to do in my head. And I was like, right, I've been waiting like 1.5 years for these brand deals. They're not coming. Am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Sure.
Yeah, so I was like, they're not coming, like fuck these brands, fuck these tourism boards. If my content's not appealing to you lot, like fuck you, I'm just gonna do what I want. And I remember I was in a shared hostel dorms, I couldn't dance the young brother in the shared hostel dorm, so I went in the boiling hot bathroom. It was so hot, there was no AC, balanced my phone by the sink, and I made this funny like skit No, it was actually a Wadix. Yeah, it was Wadix song where I played like two characters. I put my hood up to be the man, like trying to wind on the girl and whatever. And I made this like funny soca skit like in the room, and I was like, this is the start of different content. I'm just gonna post what I want now. And since that day, like that skit, like people found it so funny. They were like, we want more, like whatever. Yeah. So since then, I actually felt kind of like liberated because I was like, I have decided I am no longer trying to like, you know, tone down myself for like the possibility of money, you know, like I am just gonna, and I was always being myself, but like not showing all parts of myself, but like now I just feel like I can show more parts of myself because fuck it, like literally fuck it.
One life to live.
Yeah.
One life to live. Just, you know, do.
Yeah, so I want to show more aspects of me, you know, and part of me is that I love music. So.
But has that been viable for you? Like, has it been, the brands hasn't been reaching out before that? Has any other brands reached out to make it more viable?
I mean, it's hard to say because obviously my platform's growing all the time, so you could say, well, it's the change or it's like the fact that you've got more things. But I don't know, like people often want to collaborate. Yeah, I suppose as time goes on a bit more. But again, that could just be because my platform's bigger. I don't know. I can't say like how it's what. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's not like the Zoe brand is not profitable, you would say, as from an entrepreneur standpoint for someone.
No, like if my aim in life was to get rich, this is not what I'd be doing because my job in the UK, like the last major job I had, I think paid about £12 an hour or like £13 an hour, and I could get like 12-hour shifts, right? So do the maths. But I currently make from like the monetization of my platforms alone, I currently make like 500 US a month, which I've not really announced this to be fair, but yeah, I make like 500 US a month because my monetized platforms are TikTok and Facebook. Facebook actually pays me way more than TikTok pays me, even though I have less followers on Facebook. I get like 100 US from TikTok and like 400 US from Facebook in a month.
I would thought like maybe TikTok or Instagram, you know,
Instagram doesn't pay me, so yeah. So obviously that alone is not enough, really.
Sure.
Even though I am quite good at living on like a fairly low budget, but come on.
That's what your whole platform is about. You know,
yeah, but still. So like obviously I do get more money because sometimes I get, for example, recently like, do you know about eSIMs? Like recently an eSIM company, I think it's like an American company or something, I don't know, they reached out to me like online to do like a promo for them. So sometimes I get promos from like online companies, you know, relating to travel or apps or
like since you started, right, like doing this full time at 2022, like when did you first get like your first what you would call viral post or your page started?
That's a good question. So the first country I flew to in 2022 was Jamaica, and I started doing the daily vlogs, so just with the voiceover, hey guys, this is what I have for breakfast, blah blah. And the first one that went, I don't want to say viral, but the most popular one from that trip was when I'd seen this waterfall on like Instagram, but it only had like 5 posts there or something. It was really like vague. It wasn't like, when I googled it, there wasn't like much about this waterfall. There is now, they've started all sorts of massage by the waterfall and stuff now, but back then there wasn't much about it. But I knew it was like it was in the district that I was staying in. So I asked the man at this place I was staying at this like cabin thing, it was somewhere in Portland. I asked him like, do you know how to get there? He's like, no, I don't really go nowhere, like I just stay in this neighborhood, like I don't really know. And basically there was these 2 other travelers staying there, they were also from England, and I was like, do you guys want to try and find this today? Let's go on. No, they weren't there that time, sorry, I was by myself. I was like, I'm going on a mission, I'm going to find this waterfall, like I'm going to. So, you know, using what information I had, I got like to the village where the trail would start from, right? And obviously I was vlogging with this, and I walked through the village and there was like no tourists there, nothing, it was just like this countryside area, you know, like bush or whatever. And a man with a machete, with a cutlass, like a farmer, was like, oh, hi, like, are you lost? Like, you know, what are you looking for? And I was like, oh, I want to go to this waterfall. Like, do you know this? And he's like, yeah, like, it's down there, but you probably need someone to take you because it's a bit confusing how to get there. So I was like, oh, okay, you have anyone, can you take me? Like, you have anyone that can take me? Like, I can pay, you know? And then he's like, hey, and he shouts some nickname, you know, like, how in the Caribbean.
And somebody just passed.
Yeah, and then this man, like, just, like, came, and he was just, like, this random, like, I think he was wearing like a white vest and, you know, just a random like man, probably had like a beer in his hand, I can't remember. And he was just like, yeah, my name is like curly hair or whatever the hell his name was. And he just was like, let's go. So I just followed this like completely random man who had been advised to me by like a farmer with a cutlass, like down through the bush. And obviously I'm filming, not the whole time, but you know, I'm vlogging how I normally do. And it was cool, like he cut me a coconut like halfway down, and then we got down to the waterfall. We passed nobody the entire time. I think the hike was maybe just like 30 minutes or something, not like super long, not super difficult. We got down there, I used my towel to like change into my bikini, got in the water, got him to take some pictures of me. He wasn't a very good photographer, but and well, yeah, he just sat there. He was normal. He didn't even try and flirt, nothing. He was literally normal. He was a very quiet man. And well, yeah, he took me back up and I paid him, I can't remember, you know, a reasonable about if it was like a 20 US or whatever, like something, I can't remember. And well, yeah, said goodbye and that was it. So anyway, in that vlog, I obviously, because I think sometimes my vlogs are a bit funny because I'll do something that other people would find crazy, but I'm like, I just did this and I decided to, like I always say it in like
I would have never, somebody have said like, I would have never followed a random guy going down there.
Yeah, so obviously I vlogged that as if it was completely normal, which to me it is, but you know. And then I was like, yeah, and then I got a bus home and got some ITIL and, you know, just like the normal vlog. And then that vlog kind of blew up and everybody was like, oh my God, you're so crazy. Why did you follow that man? Da, da, da. You know, so that was my first vlog that kind of like blew up. And yeah.
So what are some moments that you're proud of as Zoe?
I remember being so proud when I got 10,000 followers, which is like so funny because that's like nothing. But I literally remember I was in Maruga actually visiting them, and I got 10,000 followers. And I thought I made it. Like what? Now I feel like I've not made it till I get 1 million. But I don't know. I remember I was like, kind of, it felt a bit crazy the first time that someone asked me for a photo. That was also in Jamaica on the first place I flew to in 2022. And I remember I was kind of proud the first time that like somebody invited me to stay at their like hotel, which was also in Jamaica on that trip, because it was actually a really cool hotel that he invited me to. But I don't know, I think I'm actually really proud. I had like a 1-year streak of doing a daily vlog every single day, as in filming every single thing I ate, every single transport I took, every single outfit I wore, every single day for an entire year. Even when I was ill on that day, like I carried on because I had it in my head, I'm doing a 1-year streak. Because I used to do it like most of the time, but I might miss one day if I was feeling a bit like rubbish that day, or you know, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do it every day for a year. And I completed that in November last year. And I literally was like, I'm done with the daily vlogs, but I'm very proud of myself. But like, I'm not doing them anymore because
a lot.
Yeah, so I was like so proud of like that like discipline, you know. And like some days you don't really feel good about yourself, right? Like some days you might just think like, I just look a bit ugly today, or like I just, you know, some days you just don't feel good about yourself. But like, so it's quite like a vulnerable thing to like, and even some days when you don't feel good about yourself, you just like stay in bed, right? But I had to like admit that to the world, you know? So like, and then you almost like have to make the excuse, oh, today I didn't really do too much because I wasn't feeling the best. You know, it's just a very like vulnerable thing to have to expose. And sometimes the food you eat, like, it's just a bit rubbish because you didn't want to go to the shop that day, but I have to like show everything, you know? So I was just really proud like of that because it was like a challenge. Yeah, I don't know.
On how, you were going to ask a question? Let's jump to the mental stage. How is it mentally for you being travel with Zoe, or just being Zoe an artist or Zoe the brand? How is it mentally for you? Because I know a lot of us come on to every podcast and every show, every radio show, and we speak about everything that's happening physically outside in the world. But the mental challenges you go through on a weekly or daily basis.
I think at the moment I'm just like feeling a bit like, sometimes it feels like it never stops, right? Because every day I wake up and one of the first things I think about is what content can I make today? Because in my head, if I don't post content pretty much every day, then I'm not doing my job, right? I don't want to start slacking. Like, so, okay, it never stops. There's not really a day off very often at all. And I actually kind of feel like guilty if I go and try a new restaurant and don't film it, you know?
It
so
feels like a guilty pleasure because you want to do something
kind
good,
of a hard thing is like to know like how or when to like switch off, because I feel like I never really do. And plus, because this device is supposed to be used for like my work but also my like pleasure, but then it's like hard to separate them because I might be like, let's say, texting my mum to catch up, but then I might see an email from like a brand, and then it's like, so I feel like I just never like switch off, and I feel like that's probably quite bad, and maybe I should have like 2 phones and use one for this. I mean, I do have 2 phones, but I never use the other one. Like, maybe I should like work on that. But I also just feel like sometimes it's a bit like draining that I do this every single day, and I feel like I'm quite committed to it, and I feel like my travels are interesting, and I feel like, you know, my storytelling's decent. Like, I feel like I try hard, but like to make 500 US from like monetizing those 2 platforms in a month, like, just feels like, as I said, if I had gone to England and done my old job, I'd be making how many times that amount, I don't know, but you know what I mean. So sometimes it just feels a bit like, like I'll be in bed at like, let's say on most days, like on trips like this, I might get home at 7, 8 p.m. after I've like had dinner at ITIL shop or whatever, and really you just want to like have a shower and like get in bed, do a bit of scrolling, maybe call your boyfriend, whatever it is, you know. But I'm like, oh, I have to edit all these videos from today. And then sometimes when I'm lying in bed like doing that and my eyes are trying to close and I'm just trying to do it, and I think, well, I'm just going to get like 500 US at the end of the month. Like sometimes it just feels a bit like depressing. Do you know what I mean?
It feels like you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and like sometimes my platform grows faster than other times. Like maybe if I have a viral moment, or there's just certain times it's growing faster than others. And like right now it's not like really growing very fast. So it's like a bit demotivating because like clearly I don't want to carry on forever just making 500 US a month.
Yeah,
like something needs to happen. Like if it's that I decide to maybe start some kind of business, whatever, because obviously I have an audience, I could. Yeah, and like also I kind of do like, so I'm actually really obsessed with like my morals. So I actually turn down a lot of like collaborations and stuff if they don't align with my morals. But then I'm like, oh, maybe I need to just accept everything to make more money, or I don't know. And like sometimes I've thought of like, oh, I could like sell things if it's a digital product like an ebook, or I could make like merch or whatever. But then because I'm just a bit too obsessed with like ethics, I'm like, oh no, but like if I was going to sell merch and it was going to be like an accessible price, then I'd have to like source it unethically, and I don't want to do that, so I just won't sell merch. Like, so then I just, you know, because I'm sure I could probably get money like through selling stuff, right? But then I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should write an ebook about solo travel, but like I feel like it's a bit unethical because probably the stuff in there they can just find elsewhere. Like I just feel bad about stuff. I don't know. So I just like.
You think that sometimes you overthink?
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you know it could just be like, you know, I'm gonna do this, and you don't really think too hard about it.
But then it's like I don't really think hard about like following a man to a waterfall, but I think hard about like
it's great.
starting a business.
Crazy, right?
You know, like I don't think hard about like jumping in a random truck when I'm hitchhiking. But yeah, I think hard about like these kind of things. Yeah.
But what gets you out of that mental state?
Well, I don't really have a choice. I mean, either I go to England and like apply for jobs, or I do this. So clearly I'm going to do this. Like, but yeah, I suppose it is a shame when like your hobby starts to feel like, you know,
a job more
yeah,
than
and it doesn't feel like that all the time. It's just those moments when I'm tired and I'm editing. It really does feel like, oh, like it feels like your homework, you know.
Okay.
But I suppose we all feel like that in our daily lives sometimes. Like you might be cleaning your store and be like, oh, why do I have to clean the store? Like, you know, yeah. I don't know, and like sometimes it's like a bit, there's not much like direction. It's like, okay, I'm going to Barbados after this, but like what am I doing after that? I don't even know. And like sometimes it feels a bit like, what am I chasing, like 1 million followers, or I don't know. I remember like when I reached 100,000, I thought my life would change then and things would be easier, and then I was like, oh no, it'll change when I reach 200,000. I'm here on 340,000.
So we're going for another 100,000 to see if it will change?
Do you know what I mean? Like, because yeah, but then I also know like if I was, because these are the creators, the ones I was referencing earlier, they like live in England and they might like spend, let's say, a month in England, and then they might go travel around Thailand for a month, and then they might come back and spend like a month in England. So they have like quite a lot of like connections to England still, or to America, or like wherever they're from. But obviously like I'm never really in England like that, so my fan base is like quite a lot from the Caribbean, and that, so sometimes when brands inquire about you, they ask to see your fan base, like the screenshots of where they're from, because you can see those statistics. And let's be real, like a lot of brands are trying to target a certain audience, and they're not interested in my audience. So I think that doesn't help either. But there's also like, you can kind of like make content geared towards, so these other creators that I was referencing, like their content is like geared towards people from their home country, because they explain, oh, I'm in Thailand, then Thailand they do this, and if you want to come from England to Thailand, but I don't do it like that. I'm like, yeah, Vincy Mas, like, but what's Vincy Mas? Like, I'm not aiming it at like British people who know nothing about what I'm doing. I'm kind of just, I guess because I'm here so much, it feels normal now to just talk as if I'm, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but there's no reference point for people outside of it.
Yeah, I mean, and like sometimes I try to explain, but like generally I don't feel like I'm really like explaining these things enough for my content to be appealing to someone who knows nothing about the Caribbean. So that's like my fault. But like, sorry, I just like the culture, and I find it more fun to like talk as if, do you know what I mean?
What I think might be a good idea for, you know, somewhat new content is whenever you know you venture back to the UK and you have your stay there, because seeing that most of your followers are from the Caribbean, you can show us what the culture is like there, the videos there, so we can get an understanding of like, you know, what's it like to get up there every day and go around and
Yeah, but then the problem is like when I do go there, so in the past, like since I've left like 3 years ago, I think I've gone back like maybe like on average like twice a year,
Right.
which isn't very much, and each time it's only been for about, let's say, like 2 weeks or so. And like it's a bit hard to make content in that time because obviously I need to like see my family and things like that. And like to get around, it's different there because like my mum and my dad, they're not together, but where they both live, it's not like super connected. Where my dad lives a bit more, but it's not like next to a train station, put it that way. Where my mum lives, you need a car, and I don't have a car because I sold my car. So it's like I can't even, like here I can just walk to the main road, catch a van and really go anywhere once I have the patience. I could really go anywhere on this island, right, by van or walking and whatever. But cut or carry on?
Yo, can I say one second?
Are we talking to us?
We good? We good? Oh,
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Whereas like if I go and stay with my mum in the UK, like I can't really go and explore the UK like that because I mean, yeah, I don't have a car, and so how? And even if she drops me to a train station, I'm sorry, but do you know how much the trains cost in the UK?
How much?
Like I think to get from London to like let's say Brighton, which is like an hour on the train, I think it's like £35 or something. So if you're going to go there and then come back the next day, that's £70 just to like. Do you know what I mean?
Compare that to Vince.
If I'm making 500, like if I was in my old job making pounds, no problem. But I'm not. I'm making 500 US a month, so it like it's not. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I can't really go to the UK and do that like that with the money I'm currently earning. So
So I have a serious question, and I hope you could answer it if you can. Let's say Zoe reached 1 million and nothing changes. What happens? What happens then? What happens then?
I'll be so pissed off. I'll be fuming.
You know, like we hit 1 million, celebration happens, but then nothing changes. What
The thing
happens?
is, I'm not gonna hit 1 million unless I start doing way more different things because I've realised at this point all I do is go to waterfalls, walk around, interview people who I think are culturally significant, and eat ITIL food and cook a bit of food and just go to markets and eat a lot of fruits. Right? Wonderful. It is cool. It's nice. I have my audience, but like. It's
like
not quite groundbreaking enough
over.
for me to reach 1 million followers. I've accepted that by this point. So either the music turns into a thing, which personally I can't sing and I don't even like performing, so I don't think that's a very good idea, or I need to do more things. I can carry on doing all that because that's me, but I need to maybe do street interviews where we get funny interactions with people on the street, or I don't know what I need to do, but more things.
You never know, something can happen, you could just get a viral video, something that blows up.
It could, but like I just think that maybe, or I need to maybe like go to more different countries, like let's say India or whatever, somewhere that's maybe quite different from my other content. Because I just think like how it is now, especially like when I'm in the Caribbean, it's becoming like a bit stagnant, and I'm not going to reach 1 million followers this way. I already know that. So I think I'm starting to think that maybe I need to find like a camera person who can sometimes come with me because street interviews, for example, I can't do by myself, really. And you kind of feel a bit more confident as well, I think, if you have like a camera person there, it's a bit less awkward. And so I think maybe I might have to like invest in like paying someone for like, I don't know, but then pay them with what, 500?
But it still doesn't answer the question. What if the numbers reach?
If nothing changed, well, it just would, sorry. But, but if nothing changed, well, I would maybe try getting like a manager because I know like that's normal for somebody with like this many followers. Not all of them have a manager, but some of them do, you know, even some with less followers. Like, you know that Travel with Nige? Do you know who that is? Who was here? He's a Vincy. You don't know who he is?
No.
Oh, well, he's the Vincy guy with the kind of posh British accent who lives in England.
Yes.
Like I noticed.
College.
Yeah. I noticed in he's got like 100 and something thousand followers, and I noticed in his bio there was like a management email. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I think I've often seen people with like a third of my following that have management. Like there's a manager email in their bio, and so maybe I would try that then. Even if I hit like 500k, maybe I'll try and get that, because then that's somebody that can like try and get collaborations and cool things for me, you know, and they can get whatever benefits they need to from that, you know, because maybe that's the problem.
But, that would be about creating more experience, or opportunities for you.
Yeah. And you know, contacting these like backpack companies or whatever it is to try and get like actual good deals and stuff.
Well, I wanted to ask you, right? Are you vegan, vegetarian?
I'm vegan.
You vegan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see you eating a lot of food.
Yeah.
But isn't that expensive for you to live that way every day?
Eating idle food.
No, being a vegan.
Vegan.
No, it's cheaper than being a meat eater because think about it, like a bag of lentils is cheaper than a chicken.
You're right.
So there's this misconception I think among some people that vegans need to go into like Massey and go into the freezer section and get like the vegan shrimp that's made of like soy or whatever. But like I don't do that. I just go in the normal shop, buy some rice, buy some well, here I actually just buy food from the ITEL shops.
Yeah.
But as in like Trinidad or other places I've been recently, I just go in like I really eat very basic things. It's like lentils, rice, bread, oats, you know, very like basic ingredients because my protein comes from like peas, basically different varieties of peas.
So have you always been vegan?
My family was pescatarian. Like when I was born, my parents were pescatarian, so I was pescatarian, and then I stopped eating fish when I was 7, and then I stopped eating dairy because I got influenced by Rastas in Jamaica on that first trip.
So you gain most of this weight from just eating vegan food.
Well, my mom has like thick legs, so it's like genetic that we have like elephant ankles and just kind of thick legs. And yeah, I think it's just like I love food, so I eat like really big portions. Some people always comment that on my vlogs that oh, she loves to eat. Yeah, I think it's just genetic, and yeah, I try to eat a lot of protein. You know, I try to eat a lot of peas and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So I know we're getting close to wrap up.
Yeah.
What people need to what do they need to understand about you being Zoe? What people need to understand? Like if I'm to see you on the street and I'm going to approach you, what do you need to
How would you
understand?
describe Zoe?
Yeah, Zoe.
I think maybe they just need to like, this is not just for me, but for like any content creator. I think they maybe just need to like give us the grace to like try new things and like realize that we're not going to be the same as we were 3 years ago because we're humans. And maybe they just need to like just calm down a bit with like the accusations and like the assumptions. I mean, I don't really mind because obviously it increases my engagement, so I actually don't really mind because actually the more that they talk about you, the more engagement you're going to get. So truly they can carry on and I don't actually care. But just if they wanted to, they could maybe just think like, this is just a person trying to live her life, trying to experience excitement, fun, having sad days, having happy days, like just the same as anyone. I just think there's like different expectations for or like content creators than there are for other humans, and I just think the standards are like very crazy, and even respect of like privacy. So sometimes I'll be like, and you know, generally the interactions I have on the street are great, and I have really no problem with people like asking questions and talking, and it's really nice, and they're usually really friendly, and it's really like heartwarming. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes people might come up, I might be like maybe on the street where there's like shops and stuff, like maybe doing some shopping or some errands, and they'll come up like, oh Zoe, I'll be like, oh hey, and they'll be like, oh like, what are you doing? And I'll be like, oh just, you know, doing some errands. Oh, but like, where are you going now? Like, what errands do you have to do? And in my head, it's like, I might have to buy the morning after pill, but like, I don't want to tell you. like sometimes they really like carry on. I'm like, well, where are you going? Like, and it's like, to your mom's house, like, shut up. Like, I don't know, like what? I don't know. Like, so sometimes, yeah, that kind of, I think, because I share a lot, they think I have the like obligation to share literally everything. And it's like, no, come on.
Yeah, because some things, you know, you have a private life as well going on.
Yeah.
You're a public figure and you post things publicly, but you have a private life as well.
Yeah.
So if you understand, like, you know, there's a limit to things they can ask. And
yeah, and I mean, obviously I can't stop anyone from asking anything, and people are welcome to ask questions. It's just that sometimes maybe they should expect that I'm not going to answer that.
True.
So, anything else you have?
Nah, that's it.
I think like
we covered a lot.
Yeah, we spoke about a lot, and I just want to thank you again.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, I appreciate it that, you know, you have a tight schedule and thing going on. So, yeah, I want to thank Zoe for coming through. Make sure you all go and check out Travel with Zoe, listen to the songs them, and we can close it off on this note. Just know. We can close it off.
Oh no, what's going to happen?
Why are you getting your face though?
What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
Don't let she see what it is, bro.
Oh no.
Oh, I hate this one because this is the one who started
Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, it has a really long intro. You have to skip. Like, okay, yeah.
Wait, so is Zoe single now? Is she single now?
No, I have a boyfriend now.
I was going to ask about that, but yeah.
in my time. You don't ever understand.